Wow, the episode that I was looking forward to finally dropped in House of the Dragon. This is the episode that I thought would be the first one of the season, and I'm actually quite happy that it wasn't. The main reason being is that this show is all about storytelling, and in order to do so, you need the character developments, you need the characters' backstories. And the reason why you need this is because you need to care for what you're seeing on screen. Before we get to these superb dragon fights, let's recap a little bit of what happened in the show. First off, we have this scene with Damon in his castle that is dripping from the roof is not holding up at all, but he's still having his visions. I don't know if they're visions or nightmares or dreams, but something is going on, and it kind of felt in the other episode that the castle was somehow haunted. Before we get into the reason of his visions, he is at this castle to try and recruit an army for Rhaenyra, and things are not going as smoothly because trying to find the heir that is of age is not an easy thing. So we have this witch that gives him a beverage. It's not exactly sure all the back reasoning of what's going on here. I think it's a build up to another sub story. Some think that this is the same witch that we see in Game of Thrones. We'll see how this plays out. A big part of this episode is Princess Rhaenys, and her storyline is the reason why this season seemed a little bit slow as a build up, to have the background, to have the character arc, because what happens in this episode is just mind boggling. Here she is coming across an individual that saved the life of her husband, but she also notices that there is a family resemblance. So her husband may or may not have always been faithful on his deep seas adventures. Also in this episode, King Aegon becomes extremely frustrated that nobody takes him really seriously, nobody listens to him, and it's quite obvious that his brother Aemon is out for his title. He's showing that he is the brains behind the throne. And man, these names are complicated to follow. It's almost as bad as naming some after the Muppet Show, but we'll get to something else. Yeah, a couple of things happen also in this episode where the mother of the king is going through certain things. She takes a potion to get rid of her pregnancy. She has a little bit of wine to kind of smooth things out. It also happens that the king is not happy. He's also drinking. And both of these characters have a very frank discussion. And at sometimes it quite surprised me the way that things came out so frankly. So Rhaenyra comes back to her council after meeting with the mother of the king and is made aware of what is going on. She wants to take her dragon and lead the fight, the battle. Her son also wants to go, but she wants to protect him. So the obvious choice becomes Princess Rhaenys, and she has a very touching moment here with her dragon. And at the same time, the king, on his drunken, I don't know what, decides to be the hero and decides to embark on his dragon and lead the fight. So while the battle is being prepared and going forward, Princess Rhaenyra decides to have a chat, a talk with her son, and finally tells him about the story of fire and ice. And now we get to the battle, which is always really nice to see. This is how I expected the season to start off. At the end of last season, we know that war was coming. I thought this is how it would start off. I'm glad, I'm really glad we had the character development. And what you're about to see in the show is some of the best I've ever seen dragon fights. We are getting away from amateurish dragon fights into some really thoughtful how the battle can actually happen. So as the battle begins, the king arrives on his little dragon, facing the princess on her bigger dragon, and it shows that he's inexperienced. All he does is like fireball, which won't work out for him at all. And the king is really no match for the princess as they are tangled in the air, both dragons. Aemon arrives on his even bigger dragon, and the show really shows the scale of these dragons. It's just eye candy. And Aemon doesn't really care about his brother. He's like, I'm going to take both of these out at the same time. Wow. So the king falls in combat in battle with his dragon. The princess somehow makes it out and decides to do a U turn. And you can see here her expression. She knows that, you know what, I might not survive this day, but I will give it my all. I wish that Hollywood would learn how to make a strong woman, a strong character on screen. You just don't, you can't just put a woman there and, okay, she's strong. No, you need a backstory and you need to care about this character. And we care about this character and we understand her reasoning. We know what she's thinking and what's about to happen happens. And a nice little attention to detail here. She straps herself to the dragon. So whatever happens to dragon happens to her. She is fully committed, which is just so sweet to see on screen. I really, really like the way that this show paid really a lot of attention. There's not like a lot of fights, but what you do get is just so well executed. This is by far the best episode of the season. And I think that within all the Game of Thrones, all the House of Dragons, this is in the top two best episodes. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. But that is just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments down below. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe. If you didn't like it, thank you so much for listening this long. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, check these out.